August 1990. The air is thick with tension. The battle lines are redrawn. The unthinkable has happened. Sting has defeated Ric Flair at the Great American Bash, ripping the NWA World Heavyweight Championship from the clutches of the Nature Boy in front of a wild, roaring Baltimore crowd. 16,000 fans witnessed the moment the torch was passed. For years, Flair reigned with gold in one hand and politics in the other. But now, the painted vigilante stands tall. But in the wake of glory, there is always retaliation. The Four Horsemen are reeling, humiliated, publicly exposed as vulnerable, and in their place, a new power block has risen, the Super Dudes, a brotherhood forged in defiance and vengeance. Sting may have the belt, but it's his allies who ensure he keeps it. Still, the question remains, how long can he survive the storm that's coming? And just as the power vacuum begins to shift, the NWA announces a brutal new proving ground, the Gauntlet, a weekend-long blood trial spanning all 3 WCW programs. 3 opponents, randomly selected, beat all 3, and $15,000 is yours. Fail, and your bounty is divided among the victors. Allies will become enemies. Betrayals will be televised. The locker room won't just be shaken, it'll be split wide open. But as the championship headlines rage, something more dangerous is creeping into the spotlight. Something darker, something mean. Baltimore, backstage, a quiet moment, just a man loading camera film before the show. Then a scream. "Hey, you never write about Mean Mark. You never write about me. You better give us the respect we deserve." It's Paul E. dangerously, red-faced, wild-eyed, and absolutely losing his mind. What follows is one of the most deranged, chaotic, and revealing tirades in wrestling wrap-up history. Paul E. launches into conspiracy theories and declarations of vengeance. "There was a conspiracy against the Four Horsemen," he hisses, "and now there's a conspiracy against me and Mean Mark. My man has the heart punch, you idiot." Paul isn't just angry, he's predicting carnage. He claims Mean Mark will defeat Lex Luger and take the U.S. title by night's end, and he's already planning a celebration dinner with Ric Flair. Later that evening, Dangerously returns, this time demanding a tape recorder. "We were ripped off," he shrieks. "Totally ripped off, but it's not over, not by any means." He mocks Luger's athletic past and instead offers Mark's resume: wrestling scholarship, football scholarship, basketball scholarship. But none of that matters, he says. That's not what makes him dangerous. Then the story turns grotesque. "Mean Mark is so mean," Paul declares, "that when he was 13, he pushed his wheelchair-bound grandmother down the stairs, and he laughed about it." The editor stares, horrified. Paul continues, detailing how Mark spent years in juvenile detention. "He's criminally insane," Paul snarls. "He has no remorse, no guilt, and he's coming for Luger." He promises the heart punch, promises that Luger will be hunted, and with that, he vanishes back into the smoke. The magazine's editor is shaken. This man is sick. In fact, both of them are sick. And the warning is clear. Do not idolize Mean Mark. Do not cheer for this monster. "Sometimes I think he's part vampire," the editor admits. "The way he stares at people, it's inhuman." As for Paul E., the most twisted individual I've ever dealt with, when confronted, Dangerously simply said, "Thank you." This isn't a gimmick. It's not a wrestling angle. This is the rise of one of the most terrifying duos in professional wrestling history. Mean Mark and Paul E. Dangerously aren't chasing wins, they're chasing destruction. And while the arena smolders from this madness, WCW's surreal odyssey continues. In a parallel universe of suits and senators, Ric Flair, despite losing his title, sits at the head table with President George H.W. Bush. At a fundraiser for Jesse Helms in Charlotte, Flair is introduced by name. "The Nature Boy," the president calls him. The North Carolina governor raises 4 fingers. It's a surreal moment, wrestling royalty shaking hands with political power. Rumors swirl that Bush was once a fan of Flair's during his Texas days. But no, Flair didn't ask for presidential protection to avoid Sting. Meanwhile, the Southern Territories remain restless. Stan Hansen, the wild brawler of the plains, has been suspended and fined for attacking a referee during a match with Tommy Rich. Clotheslines, kicks, a brutal barrage. Hansen doesn't care about rules. And the NWA doesn't care about excuses. 30-day suspension, $5,000 fine. He'll be back. He always comes back. Then there's Norman, the lunatic turned sympathetic everyman. Last we saw him, he was blindsided and beaten down by the Horsemen, left for dead. But now he's returned, with a new identity, Trucker Norman. After losing his father, an 18-wheel driving hero from his youth, Norman reclaims his legacy. He wears the overalls, he straps on the boots, and he fights for more than wins. He fights for memory. The Southern boys rise through the tag ranks, while the Freebirds brag about a fake European album and a trophy nobody can verify. Buddy Landell declares he's the real Nature Boy. Sid Vicious says he was born a winner. Stan Hansen promises nightmares. And El Gigante? He barely speaks English, but that doesn't stop Jim Cornette from delivering the most offensive tirade in the issue, mocking accents, borders, and decency itself. But the center of it all, the Storm's eye, is Sting, the champion, the face of a revolution. He knows Flair will return. He knows the Horsemen are regrouping. He knows Mean Mark is hunting. He knows Paulie is talking. But the man called Sting walks tall, head high, eyes forward. And as the issue closes, Wrestling Wrap-Up dares you to turn the page, because this war, this revolution, has only just begun.